So I bought some stuff and I want to write it off on my taxes, so we're making a video on it. Back when I was a little kid, I used to love to read. I don't really read much as an adult anymore because I don't know. I just don't enjoy doing it. But one of the things I loved reading as a child was the Goosebumps franchise. And I decided I wanted to buy some Goosebumps books. So I found these cool collector tins. These are available on Amazon. They're like $25 a piece. I have 3 of them. Each one of them comes with 5 reprinted books. So like I said, I wanted to write these off on my taxes. So we're going to take a look at these. And yeah, you know, I don't know if you've ever read the Goosebumps books. It kind of depends on your age. But I remember being a kid and going to the library that was up the street with my mother, and I would always rent that because I don't think I owned any Goosebumps books. We would just rent them or borrow them from the library, and I just fell in love with them. Like, it was a lot of kids' first introduction into like the world of horror and stuff like that. So I felt like it was super cool. Like, when you were a kid, you had so much stuff. You had stuff like Goosebumps. You had stuff like Are You Afraid of the Dark? That was kind of like that breaking barrier to enter into the world of horror and, you know, really get involved in it. So I love these books. I love these tins. Honestly, these tins are super cool. You know, like I said, each one comes with 5 different books. The Goosebumps on here is actually raised, which is cool. Now, they've reprinted these books a lot over the years. These are actually reprints. So but one thing that's very important about these books is they have the original cover art. A lot of the reprints nowadays don't have the original cover art, which I think is mad corny, like, especially if you're with it for nostalgia. So within this one is the Night of the Living Dummy, which of course was the introduction to Slappy, who ended up becoming like a huge part. The only difference between these and the original printings is that the Goosebumps on here is not raised, which kind of sucks, you know, but whatever. I'm not gonna get like too upset about it. But yes, this was the introduction to Slappy. Welcome to Dead House. I actually read this book when I got these in a couple days ago. Great read. Great freaking read. I loved this book because, like, the thing about it is like R.L. Stine, like, when he tells stories, it's not like everything ends with a happy ending. You know, it's not everything is peachy and keen. Like, there's death and violence and, you know, possessions and evil shit that happens within these books. And it's like, this is shit for kids. So, like, I still think they're super good reads. Even if you're an adult, like, I think you could super enjoy these books still. And then of course they had the television show, which I liked. The cool thing about the television show is I'll move on to the next book in just a second. The cool thing about the television show was that it was different than the books. Like, I actually watched the television version of this after I finished reading the book just to see the compare and contrast, and it's very different the way that the story plays out. So it's worth, you know, reading the book, and it's worth checking out the televised episodes that they used to run on Fox Kids. Haunted Mask, classic one, of course. This is another one that a lot of people remember. Like, these cover arts, dude. You can't beat these cover arts. Like, they're so good. Obviously, from a specific time frame. Welcome to, or One Day at Horrorland. You know, once again, you have this ghoulish creature here. And then Say Cheese and Die. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that's brutal. For a child to see that, that is brutal. Alrighty, so this is tin number 2. As you can see, once again, we have the raised lettering on here. And we have the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I vaguely remember this one. I don't know if I read it as a child. Now, I know one thing you're saying is, well, RGT, why didn't you just buy original copies and, you know, like, get the whole collection or something like that? 2 reasons, really. Like, the original collections sell for like a couple $100 online, which just seems crazy to me. And second, like, some of these books are old and children use them, and like, children have crusty fingers, and like, I don't know, just the books themselves end up getting crusty, whereas these are like fresh and sealed. Like, I'm taking off plastic as I open them. The Haunted School, vaguely remember this one as well. I know that this one did get a TV show episode of it. Here's this is a classic. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. I specifically remember getting this from the library in Raleigh, North Carolina, and great episode as well on Fox News. And Dr. Acula song, which Dr. Acula was a band that did like funny, weird metalcore at first, but then they got serious towards the end, and I actually liked the serious stuff. And then they broke up. Now they're back together. I think they're doing like a reunion tour. But yeah, that's a freaking classic. Another classic here. Like, dude, like, the artwork on these is what draws you in. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if the story title doesn't really sort of draw you in, it's like the artwork. Stay out of the basement. What the hell's in the basement? What is this weird green hand? That's a cool one. I remember that from when I was a kid. And then the Werewolf of Fever Swamp, you know, another classic cover art, classic book. And all these stories, like, you could read them in like a day. And yes, they're designed for children. Okay, I understand you're saying, well, why don't you read some adult horror books? Because I don't want to. All right, I don't want to. If I'm gonna go that route, I'm gonna watch like a movie or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just weird to me. Now, this one, out of all these books, this is probably the one with the least nostalgia. This is the third tin that they had. I felt like some classics were missing, in my opinion, but like the first one that I showed you, I think those were the best. Like, those are the ones I remember as a kid. I missed the Deep Fear or Deep Water one where there's like a hammerhead shark on it. I might actually pick that one up. So this is a purple tin. And then we have 5 more books. We have Monster Blood. It's a Monster Blood drive. Don't really remember this one. Why I'm Afraid of Bees. I always remember seeing this book, and I was like, I want to punch that kid in the face. Like, I'm like 10 years old, 11 years old at this point, and I just see this kid. I'm like, I want to punch this kid in the face. I don't know why. Like, I don't even know if he's a real kid, but if you are, I'll still fight you, even though I'm 37. A Night in Terror Tower, classic. This is a great box art here. The Beast from the East. Okay, I remember that one too. And The Legend of Lost Legend. I never read this one because I always thought that it was kind of corny. I always thought that this cover was kind of corny, but I do feel like this could be interesting. But yeah, I bought a bunch of Goosebumps books, and you know what? I fucking love it. Like, I like, that's the kind of stuff I'm into like now. It's kind of like obviously I'm selling all my games and stuff. They'll be gone in like a week. That's why the shelves are barren. But I'm more like into collecting stuff that I remember from my childhood that like I still feel holds up. And I feel like things like Goosebumps definitely hold up. Like R.L. Stine is a genius. Like, we have to thank R.L. Stine. If you're in your, you know, early 30s and older, you know, I guess it really is just a specific age. Like, if you're in your early 30s to maybe early 40s, you've probably read some R.L. Stine stuff. And that was like one of the reasons why a lot of people got into horror. And without him, it's like, well, where would we be? Like, where would horror stuff be for the generation? So the stories themselves still hold up, man. There's still cool twists and turns, and it's dope shit. So let me know in the comment section down below if you remember Goosebumps. Like I said, these re-releases are available on Amazon. I'm not like plugging anything, but like it was 25 bucks for each one of these tins. And, you know, I feel like the tin itself is cool enough. And then like the books themselves are the icing on the cake. So yeah, let me know if you picked these up, if you have any memories of Goosebumps. If not, and you like to read, check them out. I don't care that they're designed for ages 8 to 11 or 8 to 12 or whatever. Check it out. There's some good shit in there and some good stories, you know, good pacing and interesting characters. And check out Welcome to Dead House. That's a classic in my opinion. And as always, thank you guys for checking out this video. That's the point of the second channel, talking about random shit. This is as random as it gets. Dun, 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 dun. Reader beware, you're in for a scare. Later.